Hello and welcome to Movers and Shakers. I'm Ken Miller. Today I'm joined by TerriLois Todd. She is the Leavenworth County Register of Deeds. TerriLois, thank you very much for coming by today.
Thank you for inviting me.
All right, so let's start first with some of the basics about you and your office. Now, when you were elected, when were you elected? Where is the office located? And most importantly, what are the functions of the Register of Deeds? I mean, I think some people have a general idea, Register of Deeds, property records, and whatnot. But let's start first, when you were elected.
Initially, I was elected in 2020, so I took office in January of 21. Then I was reelected in 24 by a 94%. So I think the citizens approve of what I'm doing in the office.
Good. Now, I know you're over at the county courthouse, and I think most people know that the Register of Deeds office is over there. But if somebody comes to the courthouse and they're looking for the Register of Deeds, where do they go?
If you wanted to vote, you would go to the clerk's office, and I'm on the south side of the clerk's office.
On
it's
that main
first
floor? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Talk a little bit about, and I know we're going to get into some of the current initiatives, but what are the basic functions of the County Register of Deeds?
I protect and provide copies of all land records back to sovereignty. And so in addition to the preservation of our land records, we also do the current recordings. So mortgages, deeds, mortgage releases, we do UCCs and other financial documents that need to be recorded.
Okay, so I know you've been active. I've gotten your emails. I've heard you speak publicly before. The big issue I think that's on your table right now is combating deed fraud. And I know we're going to get into some technology discussion, but I think technology is kind of what's enabling a lot of the fraudsters doing what they do. So first, I guess, describe how big a problem it is.
Massive. I just attended a seminar. It was estimated $10.5 trillion in 2025 is going to be lost to fraud.
That's nationally?
Nationally, yes. And so in my office, as much noise as I have made about fighting title theft and seller impersonation property fraud, you would think it would have slowed down. But in the last 3 weeks, 3 more cases.
Wow.
Had a gentleman who thought in preparing for recording a self-imposed biometric lien, we do a little prep work. He thought he had 3 parcels. And I had to inform him, I'm sorry, we only see 2 in your name. And the sad thing was he knew who took the property. That's pretty common in the cases that I've run into is a lot of times it's a family relationship.
So, okay, so you know who did it. Is something preventing the authorities from going back and righting that wrong? Well,
actually what normally stops it is Mama says, oh, Billy's a good boy, really. I mean, he didn't mean to do that, and Mama isn't going to prosecute Billy. And if she's not gonna agree to charges, then it's a lost effort. So I have no prosecutorial authority in my office. I just simply provide all of the documentation paperwork-wise. For instance, when we suspected a notary fraud, I was able to produce 9 comparable signatures to what we thought was the forged signature for the sheriff's department. So we just turn it over, they investigate, and then they turn it over to the district attorney's office if they deem that they see fraud in it.
So the fraudsters use technology, but I know your office is employing technology, and you brought a prop here. I think everybody can see that in the. Is that a scanner of some sort?
It looks like a bloated ring camera, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
So this is not a camera per se. It is a liveness biometric camera. So the depth of your eye socket, the bridge of your nose, the length of your chin,
it's measuring
how your ears are attached. It is a 1,000-point map. So I don't know if you can see this. This would be a picture, but what it does is it maps 1,000 points on your face. And since no one else has your face is the key to apply a self-imposed biometric lien. That means you're making a public statement to everyone. I don't want my property sold, conveyed, transferred. I don't want a new mortgage unless I come back in, I present my face, and I release the self-imposed biometric lien. It's titled lien for a good reason. When there is the chain of title search is done, they look for liens. Before they convey property, they want the liens released. Before a mortgage is applied, the banks are going to look at liens. And if there's a lien in place, they're going to ask questions. I've never, ever been able to get in front of a recording. The sad thing is, once the document is recorded, your only option is go to court. I can't undo what I've filed.
Right.
And there's a statute, 582241, that says I must immediately record any conveyance that's brought into my office. Now, that stems from 175 years ago. People would have a stake on, they'd have a claim on a property, and it was the race to the courthouse. So the first deed recorded is the owner of the property.
The winner, yeah.
The winner.
Yeah.
Okay, so they didn't take into consideration the technology that was coming down the pike. So with just very, very minimum qualifications, I'm mandated by the state to file a deed that's brought into me, even if I know it's fraud. And that's what I've been fighting legislatively. I want to, we're operating with a century-old law, and the fraudsters are operating with 22nd century technology. So that's why we need technology to fight back.
Does this, people that come in and have their biometric scan of their face and all that, is that replacing signatures, which are a lot easier to copy, adulterate, whatever? Is this essentially becoming a signature?
The inventor of the camera likes to call it a signature. I'm Register of Deeds, and I don't like calling it a signature because we need a signature. We need a signature from the notary public. We need a signature from the owner of the property. But yes, in a sense, it is a biometric signature. Now, the nice thing about this is some people, they freak out about biometrics and the government. I totally understand that. When I started researching this, I talked to the inventor of the process for probably 9 hours the first weekend I met him. And we've had many hours of discussion since. But here's what I like about it. I, as the government, I do not see, hold, store, or search any biometrics. This camera and a computer sit outside of the firewall of Leavenworth County, totally separate. I request through an application for that picture to be taken. It's transmitted to the vendor with no metadata header information. So when they receive it, it's just a packet of bits and bytes. They don't know who they have, what county it is it male or female. They only know that for this transaction, this face matches it. And we are returned just like, this is an example. It's just an upper lowercase link, and it's randomly generated, and it's unique. So there's two halves to every transaction. I know who it is, what your phone number is, what your email is, what your address, and they just have this picture. And without that link, it's totally useless. So if a hacker, which is probably impossible, the owner of this has been protecting financial data for 30 years. But if a hacker was able to get through all the firewalls and then break the encryption on each individual picture that was taken, they would have bits and bytes. They wouldn't know who they have. So I liked that separation of duties with this process.
And just to be clear, so when you're talking about the biometric information specific to each person who does this, that is stored on the vendors, whether it's their servers, cloud service, whatever, and not accessible to the government.
Exactly. I couldn't search it if I want to. A lot of times people, after we apply the picture, they're like, "Can I see it?" And I'm like, "No, you can't," because I can't see it. And if someone has a real problems with biometrics, it's voluntary. So my property fraud alert, I came on before and discussed the notification service. That's great. That's wonderful. I preach that always because it's a great way to keep you informed on what's going on with your property. Where it falls down is you're notified immediately that your property is stolen.
Right, after the fact.
It's stolen, and you have to go to court, and the national averages are $30,000 in legal fees and court costs, and 5 to 10 years in court, and you have a 40% chance of not winning. 3 weeks ago, I had a gentleman come in. He said he spent $25,000 by the time he got back his Leavenworth County property. It's horrendous, and the citizen who's paid their taxes and lived there and raised their family is the one who's punished in this process. There's actually 3 victims: the person who loses their home by title theft, the person who loses their money because they think that they legitimately bought a home, and the notary public. Their good character is marred, and what's happening now is the notaries are being sued in court along with everybody else.
Okay, you alluded to this a little bit about antiquated laws within the state of Kansas. I know you're working on a bill that would enable the use of biometric cameras, kind of what we've discussed, to fight fraud. And the fraudsters are using AI tools too. So talk about HB House Bill 2309.
Well, actually, HB 2309 is dead.
Okay.
I had a discussion this summer with Speaker Hawkins, who loved the idea. There were some flaws in HB 2309. So our decision is we're going to create an entirely new bill, and we're going forward with that new bill. The basis of it is every document that I record in the office has to have a notary public. But who validates that notary is actually the certified notary with the Secretary of State's office? And the answer is no one. Graceland was almost stolen. They came within 2 hours of losing Graceland until Kimberly Philbrook stood up in court and said, I never met Lisa Marie Presley. I did not notarize that document. That's not my signature. And the Presley family won. So if fraudsters are going to go after Graceland, your property is fair game.
Yeah. All right, to wrap up, and this is kind of a recap, what are some of the things property owners can do right now to protect themselves from the kind of fraud we just discussed?
Well, number one, they can help me. We were interviewed by a local TV station, and when that aired, the both Platte County Recorder Christopher Wright and myself were the first 2 county governments in America to do this technology. And when that story aired, and they said the only place you can get it is Platte County, literally the Board of County Commissioners for Clay County was bombarded with phone calls. And they said, why can't we get it? We want this. And so they're moving forward with adding this to it. I need a groundswell of help. So if someone will write me and say, hey, send me that canned email that you have to ask the legislators to pass this common sense law where we will use the biometrics to validate that the notary is actually the notary on file with the Secretary of State, and then pass that on either through social media or through a direct email to other friends that they know in Kansas who own property, get them to write their legislators. Because until there's an outcry from the public, do something about this. I mean, make me queen for the day. I could give you 10 laws to change, and we could really lock out fraud. So my bill on firming up the notary public process is just step one. There's a lot of other things we need to do. Second, make sure that they're signed up for property fraud alert. They can call my office at 913-684-0424 and ask to be signed up for that. And then the third thing is the biometric liens. It's voluntary because it's not free. You have to pay the creation fee of the document we're recording, and the recording fee for most people is normally $55, $58. So it's a total of $78 someone would spend. Now, if your legal description's out in the country and it's very long, it could be more money than that.
Okay, I've been speaking with TerriLois Todd. She is the Leavenworth County Register of Deeds. For Movers and Shakers, I'm Ken Miller.